Are you ready to run your short-term rental business like a superhost? If so, look no further than Guesty for Hosts. Guesty for Hosts offers listing management for all three major OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, and VRBO. With Guesty for Hosts, you can create a branded direct booking website in minutes. I've been able to hit 61% direct bookings in my business and automate daily tasks such as communication with cleaners and communication with guests. Click the link in the show notes to get an additional $20 off your first month.
Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Micah and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let,
Thrive. I know that Claire, who edits our podcast, probably has to, whenever you say back like real loud, it peaks out every time. She's like, God dang it, she has to bring it down and get it.
For real.
Yeah, man. Welcome back to Live, Let, Thrive, everybody. How you doing, Micah?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good too. Threw us all off on that. And this is Live, Let, Thrive, like I said earlier, your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, short-term rental podcast in the world. And we talk about more stuff than that, but mostly short-term rentals. And we are coming at you from Arlington and Fort Worth, Texas. This is episode 212.
212. Let's go.
In the house, man. And this happens to be a me and Micah episode. Well,
I
know it's been a minute, and I'm glad we're doing one. I guess couldn't make it, so it's like shit. You and I riff, see what comes out. And anyway, that's Jonathan Nichols calling me, but he was on the podcast earlier. And long story. I will bring it up on the cast. Jonathan Nichols, syndication expert.
Oh yeah, definitely got to have him on your team.
I need to know some syndication stuff from him. Anyways, Micah, how you been?
Man, I've been good, man. I was actually for the show, I was laughing at I didn't want to laugh at the lady, but you got to know the viral video going around about the lady who has the Airbnb and the lady squatting in it, right? But she was renting rooms in her house and this lady won't leave. Like she made a Facebook video, Instagram video telling what happened. And the lady walked by during the video and she started recording her. And she went to she went to her refrigerator and made a sandwich and lit up a cigarette and told her she wasn't leaving. So the lady called the cops. The cops told her, "Hey, man, it's a civil issue, because she hasn't handed over the paperwork." The lady went back to her room. She told the lady, "Don't come to my room and leave me alone." And she squatted in her house. It's horrible.
God, she went and made a sandwich
and
lit a cigarette, man.
I was like, this is bruh man from the fifth floor vibes right here, man.
We had some fun on this episode, man. It's good. Yeah, it's good to reconnect. We've been doing our clubhouses every Wednesday, so we chat a little bit on there. The last one was pretty lit. Topics today. We didn't even write down any topics, but everybody's talking about the interest rates going sky high.
Yeah, they are, man. It's ugly. The feds hiked the rates 0.75%. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna see the higher interest rates. I mean, I'm about to be doing a refinance hopefully next month. So I'm gonna have to deal with the brute force of that, So I'm gonna be able to run into that. So we'll have to see what's gonna happen.
And if you play it like the real estate's a long game, right? You gotta play it as a long game.
Got to.
So it doesn't, I mean, yes, it sucks. The rate's going up right now. They're trying to fight inflation, but if you're playing the long game, and eventually they're gonna go back down again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna be paying down an asset, or your renters are gonna be paying it down for you, right?
Facts.
Hopefully, it still cash flows even at these high interest rates. And then when it does get to the point where they start dropping again, what goes up must come down. Then you can refinance out, get a nicer rate, lower payment, and have more equity in the house, which is good. So if you look at it as at the long game, it sucks not getting it at what's it called 2%, 3%.
Yeah.
But on the same end, a lot less people are there isn't 20, 30, 50 bidders for every single house that comes on the market, right?
It is flipping right now to a buyer's market for sure.
Yeah. So
Redfin just laid off a whole bunch of people. So They said the market's too slow. Like, ew, dang. So it's that slow? And I know it's slow because check this out, man. I have a wholesaler. He'll call me, hey, I have this deal. And I'm like, hey, email it to me. He'll email it. And I'm like, man, you must not have no buyers, because he'll call me right back. Hey, did you see the deal? I'm like, man, dude, your buyers list drying up, or what's going on? Or is this just a shit deal? I don't know, because
I'm seeing price drops, dude. Price drops, man, in Grand Prairie too. One of them just slashed one. I'll send it to you. They slashed it by $12,000, man. And I was like, wow. And it's a decently priced, of course, interest rates are going up, but it's a nice price place.
I think Doug hit it on the head, man. He said if a property's been sitting for 30 days, a lot of people, they'll start slashing the price, getting scared. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. Yeah.
And then plus, here's something I was going to ask you too, man. Cause we hadn't really talked about it too much yet, but we're kind of closing on a house right now, right? Mm-hmm. In Grand Prairie. Mm-hmm. And so the appraisal, they haven't been out to appraise it yet. Mm-hmm. So luckily we started the closing process a few weeks ago when rates were still about 5%, 5 point something for mm-hmm. investor rate, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, in just a couple of weeks, it's already gone like for investors like 7%. It's already gone up 2%, 2 percentage points in 2 weeks. It's fucking crazy. But luckily we got locked in at that 5 point something, right? Ooh. And so I say luckily, and but a few weeks before that we'd be like, damn, 5 point something. But when they were like 3 point something a month or so ago. But luckily we got locked in at a decent rate. And so here's my thing. I was like, we didn't sign, how sometimes they make you sign an appraisal contingency. So like if let's say, house, we're going to buy it at $315K. If it doesn't appraise at $315K, if it only appraises at $300K, then we have to come out of pocket that $15,000 on top of what our down payment is. Mm-hmm. And we said, nah, we ain't doing that, And luckily they accepted the contract anyways. So now I'm thinking, man, with the prices dropping around, right? I hope that appraisal comes in lower, man. And the people selling this house, they really do want to sell it, get out from under it, whatever. It will be like, and it'll go back, maybe it appraises at 290 or some shit like that, right? And then and they'll be like, well, do you want to, will you pay more than that? No, we're just gonna pay what it appraises for, getting the loan through the bank. Maybe they'll be like, all right, we'll sell it to you guys anyways, just to sell it, right? So I'm hoping for a low appraisal, which is weird because we've always hoped for high appraisals, right? So we can go into a deal with equity, but I'm hoping for a low appraisal just to get a better deal on the thing.
The last house I had appraised in Texas, man, it came in right on the number. Most appraisers, because houses are like overvalued right now, I just don't. Low appraisal's just hard right now, man. Because this house I'm doing, this rehab I'm doing, I'm like, we're probably expecting it to be 20,000 higher than what we wanted the ARV to be, just because how crazy the market is. So I'm supposed to get my appraisal done. I'm gonna get my appraisal done next month. So yeah, those low appraisals, man, it could happen. It could happen, but
hopefully yours comes in high. You want yours to come in high, right?
I want mine to come in high because I'm going to refi out.
Yeah. But now I'm just thinking the way the market's turning.
Are you doing a traditional 20% down? Mm-hmm. So traditional 20% down. Yeah. Shit. Woo. Yeah, this might be hard to pull that one off, man.
Yeah, man. So a lot of conferences going on right now, man. And there was the Nashville conference and the Austin conference. I guess it's conference season for short-term rentals, huh?
Yeah, I missed that conference, man. But we will be at the luxury STR summit. We will be speaking there. It's a virtual event. I already made my speech for it. So we'll be on that with for Rachel Gainsborough. We'll be dropping the link to our. If you click our link, I think you get a little bit. I think 10% off. You'll get a 10% off if you click our link. It's going to be on the Live Let Thrive referral page. So yeah, check that out. I'll definitely be at that one. I'm VR, man. Everybody keeps hitting me up to go to VRMAs. I might go, but we have to see, because next month we're going to a conference for Mahogany. Then September we're going to my big real estate conference with my with my mentor Thatch. So we'll have to see. I'm gonna see what other STR conferences I can make, because I got to get back to this cold calling so I can get some deals, man. Because I think it's about to be deal season.
Nice. You remember a great guest we had on the show a while back, Mr. David Flippit Weems?
Yeah.
You know, I talked to him a little bit today.
Okay.
And great episode. Go back and check it out, because he was doing flips, plus he was doing Airbnbs and stuff like that, and he knows how to do hands-on, like restoring places and stuff like that, fixing them up. And so he was the one telling us, putting these badass rain showers in there and stuff like that. He was doing cool things.
Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah. Well, he told me, because of the craziness that's happening over there with the legislation, like Philadelphia. Remember, Philadelphia is going through pretty much like an Arlington style ban, where you can't do it at all in residential anymore, and it only in like some kind of multifamily, but it can't be a specific multifamily. It's real strict, right? And you got to get permits and stuff like that. Well, that's spreading to his city, because he's got a congresswoman or whoever the hell's leading the charge, saying, "No, but don't worry, we're not going to ban it. We're going to do something like Philadelphia, but it's not going to be a ban." Which, when cities don't say that word anymore, really, right? They don't say ban. They just call it short-term rental regulations, because they know that probably in the court of law, it wouldn't stand up by telling somebody that they can't do, they have the property rights. This is their house. They can, rent it out as they see fit. You can't really use that word ban, because that'll bring up a lot of legal issues. Now you can use the word regulation all day long and make it pretty much like a ban, right? And so anyways, long story longer, he's actually switched off of Airbnb, and he's a full-time electrician now. But he's making freaking killing, because they're in such a high demand, right? Electricians. And so he said the dude he was apprenticing under is making like $30,000 a month being an electrician.
That's crazy, man.
So but it's cool that he can pivot like that, right? Because he's got some skills, and it's a high demand career, and he said pretty much they can write their own prices on work right now, because it's hard to find electricians. It's hard to find trade jobs, right?
Bro, I just wrote an electrician a $7,000 check. You already know. Yeah, electricians and plumbers right now. If you're an electrician or a plumber, bro, you
write your own paychecks, man.
Yeah.
And I would say even more for electricians, because at least plumbing, hey, we fuck up, we get toilet shits on us, right? Whatever. We fuck up with electricity, our face melts off, So I would say electricians a little bit more, of a skilled profession that most people don't want to mess with, and including me, I won't mess with electricity. No. And so I got stung by a ceiling fan one time, and I'm like, all right, that's it for me. I ain't messing with this stuff no more.
Yeah, man, for real, I ain't touching electric. Fuck that.
So it's cool that he's able to transition to that. He said, well, now he can getting loans for houses is a breeze, to invest in real estate. So he's going to use all that money he's making, invest in real estate, sit it there, let it grow, let his stack grow, and just keep making great cash flow making great, great money doing electrician work, and then just pouring it into real estate. So that's another play. There's so many different plays, man. I mean, when the market shifts, you got to be able to shift with it. And I think you brought that up on some of these, on some of the TikToks and reels that you were doing. It's gonna shift, but you gotta be able to move with it.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna pivot. I mean, it's just knowing different strategies, man. Like, I'm definitely gonna be moving into doing some little bit more knowledge on the sub 2 strategy. My goal is to have a sub 2 deal in hand, and then reach out to like Adam Johnson or somebody, see how much I can pay him. Like, look, help me run this, and we can go from there. Because I think sub 2 is about to be huge, especially like how you just said, these houses sitting on the market, man. You might find somebody, because I'm about to get back to doing cold calls in Texas. I've been doing them in Arkansas, but I just added Plano and Mansfield to my list, and try to help some people out, because it's going to be a bunch of people, because I think DFW was one of the number one places for evictions right now. I posted that article on Instagram. So people and landlords don't want to go through evictions. And if the landlord does go through an eviction, they don't want to be a landlord no more. They're like, F this. I mean, that for real, like, that's like a lot of times when real estate starts to shift, they go through an eviction, they throw in the towel. Like, I ain't doing that shit no more, So those sub 2 deals and creative finance deals are going to be coming. So yeah, I'm ready for the pivot, whatever it brings.
I'm ready to do a subject 2 deal, man. That's my next thing. And it's I even texted Adam Johnson while these rates started climbing and climbing. I'm like, dude, he goes, I can predict it. Everybody's freaking out, because everybody's trying to get these traditional loans, which you hate. You hate dealing with the banks, and so these houses are going to be sitting longer. I said, this is probably making you happy because you're a subject 2 guy. So so everybody's freaking out because they're not going to get good deals through the bank on buying a house. But you're sitting there waiting for these houses to just be sitting there that no one can get rid of, that they're upside down on. That's when Mr. Subject 2 starts like racking them up, man.
Really? Because that's my thing. My thing is
real quick, what's Subject 2?
Subject 2, basically you're taking over the mortgage payment. Your name goes on the deed, and then whoever's the current person on the mortgage stays on the mortgage. You're just going to pay the mortgage.
So it works out great. Yeah. For someone who's upside down on a house, can't sell it. It needs repairs. They don't have money to do repairs to sell it to get top dollar. If they did sell it, they'd be losing money. So yeah, Adam,
or if you can't make the payments on it and you're behind, you pay the arrears and get a house for free,
Exactly. And that's what Adam Johnson preaches. And you go in there and get them caught up, just start paying on that loan, and then move the house into his LLC, and the deed's it's his house now, and stays on their name. So it's a cool way to pick up houses with little to no money down. So
that's how I'm trying to pivot into that space, while also, because my only thing was, I think it'll be easier now, but only problem was I don't know how to find I know how to find them, but when I come across the deal, I don't know what to do with it. So that's why I'm happy we got people that we can just reach out to. Hey, what do I do with this deal? Because when I'm cold calling, I'm mainly cold calling. Hey, are you looking to sell? And I can get into that conversation with them, but I got to really know the subject 2 model to really nail it down, so I can just have that tool on my tool belt when I'm moving and dealing. So yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a season where a lot of people get wealthy, man. I think a lot of people are going to get wealthy, like especially with that conversation we had last night. I think Anaje and Doug, and we got to get Anaje on the podcast. They were right. They were like, you want the interest rates to go up. Houses are going to sit longer. And plus, we're already in a housing shortage. So if you have a house right now, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about it. It's going to be a new learning journey, which I'm always excited about new learning journeys. Hey, shit hits the fan, learn, pivot, keep going. So, because I'm not going to say I'm a BRRRR. I haven't mastered BRRRR, but I understand it enough where I can execute one. So I kind of want to know, okay, how do I get to the subject 2? Now I don't have to use the refinance, the bank, and things of that nature. So I'm happy for it.
It is funny because like a buddy of mine at work, he's been asking me about, every time I pass by, he asks me about Airbnb, about short-term rentals, this and that, buying properties, and I always give him all my advice I can, whatever. But he's what's it called, analysis paralysis. He's having an analysis paralysis for a couple of years now. He hadn't been able to pull the trigger. He's seen places, this, and he always finds a way to talk him out of it. Oh, but this could happen, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so I heard him walking out today to go clock out, talking to another dude. He goes, man, they just raised the interest rate, 0.75. He goes, now there's no way I can buy one. It's just like, what are people waiting for? I mean, I know you want the perfect deal to just fall in your lap and everything be perfect, right? But I mean, at some point you just got to jump in. I mean, how are you going to get your reps in? How are you going to learn this real estate or Airbnb or short-term rentals or whatever without doing it, just waiting for the perfect opportunity? While us, we're investing when times are good. We're investing when times are bad. We're investing when times are in the middle. I mean, we don't stop.
Yeah.
And we're getting our reps in, and you're going to come up against us killers. Good luck. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, yeah, it's just about being smart. I mean, just do it. I mean, if people are naysayers, I don't even really deal with them. I mean, hey, you don't do what you do, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's all about, surrounding yourself with people that are doing it, especially right now, because you got to be educated. Because that clubhouse last night had me on fire. I was like, oh shit, that was a lot of good information, and a lot of good information in a short amount of time. And I just think it's about I think that wealth transfer is about to be there. You got to be ready for it. If you're arbitraging, you're going to miss the train. Matter of fact, you might pay for it on the back end because the motherfuckers who buying your houses, bro, they're jacking up the rent. So it's like, you got to be prepared and you got to know. And that's why I love the conversation when it flipped to arbitrage versus owning. In the stuff that I like about arbitrage, most people don't even talk about it anyway. Like those three things I said about arbitrage, the contracts, the relationships, and what else did I say? Contracts, relationships, and business credit. I said those are the three things I love about arbitrage because I can now use all three of those to go buy property, which most arbitragers don't. What happens is you fall into arbitrage and you just only know how to arbitrage. And I think Anaje said it best, man. He says, I'm pissing people off, but they don't know shit about real estate. So, and I was like, you're right. You fall into that trap where you don't know anything about real estate. And, because look, he just picked up a 15, 20 unit deal 12 unit apartment complex down there, and he can do what the hell ever he wants with it. He can Airbnb some of the units, but he's trying to keep the long-term tenants in there. And I think that is one thing I'm telling people heavy right now. Short-term rentals is just a bonus when you're in the real estate game, because you got to focus on that. I run all mine with long-term rentals, unless I'm in a vacation rental market, and I haven't entered that market yet. I'm running long-term rental numbers on all my properties. If the long-term rentals don't work, then it ain't a good deal. That's how I'm looking at it. And I know like a lot of people, especially in Dallas, is happening. People are running short-term rental numbers on these deals, man. And I'm like, shit, Dallas is trying to having regulation issues. You got to be careful doing that. You got to make sure that thing makes sense as a long-term rental, or have a good base. And this is another thing I loved about our interview, our clubhouse last night. Knowing how to get off the platforms and build a short-term rental business, so you know how to get other clientele. So, man, it's a good season. I'm loving this season, man. We're about to see a good wealth transfer.
And it reminds me because remember when everybody was freaking out because COVID, right? When COVID hit, everybody was freaking out. That was the best time to go in and buy things up, man. And I went shopping. I remember I went shopping for houses, and I think you did too, right? I
was buying. There
you go. Yeah. And so, you were buying houses. I was able to find one, a buddy at my work. It's crazy. One man's, trash is another man's treasure, right? One man's, going through something bad, it sucks because the townhouse I bought was from a buddy at work that I overheard them talking about it, at the tool crib, to another mechanic, and saying, yeah, this guy's been in there. He was there for 6 months, and because of COVID, he didn't have to leave. And, I couldn't get him out. He didn't pay rent for 6 months, blah, blah, blah. Then he punched holes in the walls and messed up all this and that, I have to go fix all this stuff. And he was I just want to get rid of it. And so I was just in the right place at the right time. Oh, I buy properties, blah, blah, blah. And I got it for $92,000, man, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse. Right. And so it's just, but I was able to find good renters, put them in there, good to go. I got a great freaking deal on the place, and it's cash flowing great as just a regular long-term rental.
There you go.
And that, plus we were picking up arbitrages along the way, building up our arbitrages and building up our, man, we didn't stop, man. That's the problem. And people, when things start going down and dipping, like the stocks and all this stuff, that's when people freak out and start selling. At the worst possible time, they start selling and getting freaking, I gotta get my money back.
So you gotta go buy, man.
And then they only reinvest when everything's shooting back up again. So they buy at the worst possible times and they sell at the worst possible times, instead of just keep steady, getting your reps, buying, buy real estate if you can, yes, interest rates going up, but there's still deals to be had if the rents can cover it, like you said, long-term rents, not just Airbnb rents or short-term rental rents, but if the long-term rents can cover it, it's not to us, it's not that scary. To other people, they're looking at the big numbers, this, that. We're looking at the monthly. Will someone pay two grand a month for it?
That's what scares me. Well, kind of, but not really. Kind of. My only concern is, like, with all the, Dallas, Fort Worth, they're going through huge evictions right now, right? So it's telling me wages can't cover these new rents. So what we're going to see, in order for this to stabilize, if wages can't cover these new rents, I think all the new renters about to be replaced are about to be Californians and people that ain't from here. Because it's like they're coming in with the big money. They'll rent from you. They got the money in the pocket. So I think there's going to be like a wave like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, damn, if the wage can't cover the rent, because the average nationwide rent is what, $2,000 a month now? Somebody was selling an apartment for what? Trying to lease an apartment for $2,600 a month in the Airbnb group. So it's like, damn, so I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on that. It's just crazy with the wages.
I guess, like I said, people are like, oh, real estate's gonna crash, or real estate's gonna do this and that. But we've always been in a I don't know, kind of a bubble here in North Texas, because we got so much jobs here. There's, almost all the corporations are headquartered here. It's crazy. And so, and more are coming every single freaking day. And that's going to bring in people that are looking for jobs, high-end jobs, right? And when rents in New York are over $4,000 a month, the rents in California are over $4,000 a month, and they're like, wow, I could get a better job in Texas in general, and my rent's going to be half. $2,000 a month, that's nothing. I could rent a whole house for $2,000 a month. They're freaking out. And so we're just in this spot that's kind of a protected bubble against all the craziness that happens in LA, San Francisco, New York, whatever, us in Florida. I guess we kind of
it's a huge transition, man. It's a huge transition.
Yeah, so we're in a good spot. Rents are going up. I think, I follow that crap every day. I'm looking on the Redfins and Zillows and all the stuff for arbitrages, plus, properties to buy. And I saw the rents, creep up to $2,000 a month being like the norm. And then I started seeing them go to $2,190, $2,200, $2,300, $2,500. And then I'm like, and then they started creeping back down. I'm like, okay, they're just trying to find what the going rate will be, right? And it's settled back down around 2,000, 2,100, which is still good, man.
What size home?
3 to 1,500 to 1,800 square foot, something like that. So
2,100
for around that, depending on what part of town, of course.
Yeah, what part of town are you seeing that?
I always look in Grand Prairie. And here's another thing too. On that same note. Most of these homes were snapped up by corporations, right? They went through, I guess there's Main Street, there's Turnkey, there's all kinds of different ones. I don't even know all the names, but every time I look at them and I'm like, okay, this would be a good arbitrage. And I see the corporation's logo. I'm like, oh crap. I've already talked to those people 100 times and they don't allow corporate leases. Now, maybe their tune will change when they have all these houses they can't rent out. And they'll say, okay, we'll let you do corporate rentals here.
See, that's what I was wondering, because that's what I said. I think we're in a transition of renters. That transition of renters is like, okay, we're not going to lease to corporate. We're not going to do the corporate housing thing. But I think you're right, because if they have to sit on them houses for a long time, you're sitting on a liability. So I don't know if you're about to sit there and wait for that renter that can afford to come in. So yeah, it's an opportunity. Definitely an opportunity.
Can you I know we get like high end into this stuff in our latest podcast and stuff like that. Can you tell somebody, and I'll give you a scenario. I mentioned it on the podcast too. I'm sorry, on the Clubhouse. I get them confused now. I mentioned it on the Clubhouse too when we were talking about arbitrage versus owning, right?
Open a whole can of worms after we.
Yeah, it was great. and they were saying, you know, the consensus was owning's better, of course, but they even admitted that not everybody has enough money to buy a house, right? Money or credit or whatever it all takes to buy a house. So
I'm gonna speak on that.
yeah, okay. But I guess my thing was, you know, a friend of mine reached out to me, and she's going through the big B, the divorce, you know, and a friend from college, from a friend of all of ours, and she's like, you know, she sees our videos, sees our TikToks and reels and stuff like that. She's like, you know, I just really I've been hearing about this arbitrage. I want to learn it. I need passive income, you know, something for me and my kids, you know, so we can make some money. And she goes, I can't really buy anything right now, but I saw this arbitrage thing, and I said, yeah, you know, that's what we do, and I'll tell you all about it. So, what advice? What would you give to someone to get started in the arbitrage game?
My first thing is, why can't you buy? That's my first question. Why can't you buy? What's stopping you? Is it you can't buy, or you don't know how to buy? That's my first question. Then if you just give me a whole long scenario of I can't, which usually is I don't know, then okay. But if you're trying to get into the arbitrage space, have your LLC created. Actually, after you have your LLC created, just get on that phone call, do cold calls. You see all these zip codes behind me? I cold call them every day. Look at the buy houses, same thing. Tell them what you do, tell them who you are. Hey, I'm Micah with Airbnb. We're a corporate housing company. We are actually looking to rent homes in your area. We have a bunch of traveling nurses. We also have remote workers that are coming to town, and we're looking to house those people in your property. We're fully insured through Proper and Superhog. Could I talk to you more about this? In person? Simple conversation. Yeah, it's simple to get into arbitrage. And then what you're really doing, and then let me tell you the big things, what you're really doing with this arbitrage is you're building a relationship with this owner. That is one reason to why I actually prefer working with small landlords who own smaller apartment complexes and houses, because you're building relationships. They have friends who also do real estate, and they may want to get rid of that property. So that's how I would do it if you're in the arbitrage space. But the biggest thing in arbitrage, build relationships. Let them know your end goal, not your right now goal. Let them know your right now goal. Yeah, I'm trying to arbitrage your property, but we also buy properties. My goal is to buy properties. So let them know that, and you'll be on your way. I think you said you picked up a deal through arbitrage, right?
I like that caveat. Yeah, we're in the middle of our lease with her, but it's a condo over there in Oakland. Mm-hmm. that she's wanting to sell to us. So without putting it on the market or anything like that. So that's we pretty much going to buy that one. Another one over there off Lovers in Dallas, we really like a lot. He was going to sell that one to us for a decent price. So we actually wanted to buy that one first, and then the one in Oakland. But he kind of backed out. He's like, yeah, I don't know, I might hold on to it for a little bit, this and that. Mm-hmm. So, but we're always talking to the people that we arbitrage at. Like I said, I primarily, we do have a few through the apartment complexes and stuff like that. I really hate doing with that, you know.
I'm the same way.
Too many moving pieces, right?
People don't understand that, man. Like, you know, we had a conversation about that. They were like, I was talking to people, they were like, houses have way more moving pieces than an apartment complex. I'm like, what? Like, man, you go to the house, you check in. Your apartment complex, I got to guide you there. I got to create a whole Google presentation so you can get to the place. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll even tell you my goal. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you my goal in a few.
Okay, write that down so you won't forget your goal. All right. So here's another thing that people don't even that's happening to us. So, and this happens all the time in the apartment complex, in the apartment industry, right? They change management. Like you change socks, you know? It's crazy. So this new management company, we got like $125 charge, and we were like, you know, what's this for? And they're charging us $10 a day. We don't pay it. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I said, oh yeah, we went to your place the other day, or the maintenance guy, for some kind of maintenance or whatever. So I don't know what he was going to do. They didn't even warn us really, but they said, but you know, no one let him in, so it's $125 charge if he goes out and nobody lets him in. I was like, I didn't even sign a lease with you guys, first of all, and so, but what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fight it. They're just gonna keep racking up the fines until I pay it. And it's just like, not even then they'll be on me like stink on, you know what? And so I'm like, going back to what I was saying earlier, I like to deal with individual owners, of condos, of townhomes, of houses, right? Because once they see that we're taking care of their place and we're paying rent on the first of the month and we ain't bugging them over bullshit, they fucking love us, right?
Yeah.
And they're cool with us. And if they ever think about selling the house, and now I've started, throwing some out there, say, hey, by the way, if you ever want to sell your house, let us know first. We'd like to give you a good offer for it and buy it, and so, oh yeah, I'm not really trying to sell it right now, but I'll go, I will do that. I'll talk to y'all first about buying it from, you just get that in their head, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go back to something else. I like to tell stories, right?
Go
so
ahead.
I had a whole a 1979 Cutlass Broham, right? 2-door. I had a Cuddy over there, and when I lived off Cottonwood, my first house over there in Arlington, and so I got married. I had some rims on it. I had it painted black.
Steve had a lowrider.
Lowrider. I did, man. I love lowriders. Anyways. So it was cool. The thing is, I was pouring money into it. Those things. You got old cars. You got to put money into them. And plus, I got married. Brought my wife here from Mexico, living with me. Here's the thing. While I'm at work, all hours a day, you get thuggish, ruggish dudes asking to try to buy the car. They see a car out there, with rims, and it looks cool, and they're asking. And my wife's at home. I'm like, man, I don't like this. I'm growing up. I want to get into this real estate game. I don't need this headache, and then someone's gonna probably just steal it anyways. And so, but there was this one cool dude, man, and he came up there with his nephew one time. Yeah, he worked over there at the Kia dealership in Arlington, and cool brother, man. He was real cool. He came up, dressed all nice, had the khakis from his Kia dealership, and just started talking to me. Yeah, you would thinking of selling it? I'm like, yeah, not right now, but maybe one day, I don't know, but I'm trying to fix it up and this and that. He goes, oh, I totally understand. He was being cool,
He wasn't pushing.
He wasn't pushing. He goes, I'm just trying to, I'd like to have, if I had a couple of these before, I want my nephew's getting interested in restoring one of these cars, and I want to get it for him. And his nephew was there. And oh, cool. And I just remember it was a great conversation. He was super nice to me. And when it came time to sell, I kept his information. I kept some of these guys' information. When it came down to sell, I sold it to him for less money than I would have sold it to one of these thuggish, ruggish dudes that kept coming around. I didn't even think about calling them. I thought, I like that guy. He was real nice to me. Him and his nephew are going to work on this thing together. I called him. I might have made a couple hundred less, but I liked him. He formed a relationship with me, and I called him, and he made it easy for me. He said, I said, well, right now it's not running because I was changing something on it and whatever. It's not really. It goes, dude, don't worry. I'm gonna get a tow truck. I'm over here at the Kia dealership. I'll be down there. I got the cash. I'm gonna run by the bank. He made it easy for me. So he formed a great relationship with me. Really nice to me. Cool story. Doing something nice for his nephew. And then and he made it totally easy for me. I didn't have to do shit. He was gonna show up with his tow truck, put it on there, give me my cash, and head out. And that's how we gotta look at talking to these people who are selling their houses. We might not be the one, we might not be in the highest bidder.
You're planting seeds.
If they like you, they're gonna sell it to you. Period.
Oh, I had the same thing with my 99 DeVille, man. I had a 99 DeVille, wood grain steering wheel, wood grain across the panels, man. Fucking head gaskets went out on me. I had to sell it. I was like, my Cadillac, man. Because I had an 89 DeVille. Lost that one. Then I had a 99 DeVille, so I had to let my cars go too. So I know what you mean. So yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you're planting seeds. You're planting seeds. Like, hey, and that's what I do when I cold call, man. You're not trying to be pushy. Like, I don't care if you're not interested in selling your home right now, cool. That's if you're not interested in selling your home, cool. Here's my number. This is what I do. I help people. It doesn't really seem like you're in need, but if you ever want to sell your house down the line, give me a call. And that's basically what you're doing. You're planting seeds. And I think a lot of times Me and Mike, we have a deal up in Plano. And I was talking to him like after he started talking about it, he's like, yeah, this lady put all this work in and now there might be a leak and all this. I'm like, man, we should take that opportunity and throw it out there that we buy houses, because if she already put work in from us on the move in of us moving in, I'm like, the house is probably a money pit if the only thing she's really getting off of it is the money we're giving her. Plus she just spent thousands to get this other shit fixed. We can throw that out at her. And I think Mike might've put the bug in her like, hey, we buy houses too, just to see. Mm-hmm. And you never know what people are going through and you're planting those seeds. So I think that's a very good thing.
Somebody just thought it right now, right? I thought of this shit right now. Now we're doing these arbitrages out of houses, right? Mm-hmm. And you said, and you've been saying that it's a great way to eventually purchase these houses, mm-hmm. From a good relationship with the owners and stuff like that. Putting that seed in their ear, whatever. What's to stop us? Here's a cool point, right? Mm-hmm. So while we're arbitraging these things, we could block off a day, right? Mm-hmm. And pay inspector to go out there and inspect it from the ground up, man. Inspect everything. So now, you don't even have to tell. I mean, you really don't have to tell the owner. It's helping. It's good to know what's going on with the house, right? Yeah. So, anyways, they're not going to carry the way. So pay for an inspector, about $300, whatever, to go over there and check that thing from the inside out. Make sure nothing crazy is wrong with it. So when you do have those conversations, just say, you know what? You don't got to fix any. You don't even have to tell them you send an inspector out there to check it out, right? And you start telling them, oh, okay.
No, go ahead, because we can bargain on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is a bargain. But here's the thing: you can say if this is a good house, everything's it's got good bones, foundation's good, roof's good, blah blah blah. AC's good, and the inspector, minor things, whatever. If you can tell the owner, and start beside just planning, saying, hey, by the way, buy houses, whatever. You could tell them, and you want to make, and that's the thing, you want to make it simple for them, right? Yeah. You can say, if you ever do want to sell it, please let me know first. I'd love to opportunity to buy it, and you don't have to worry about inspection. There's no contingencies, no inspection. We don't even have to go through agents. I know a great title company that can get us freaking done in like 7 days. We don't have to go. You don't have to pay $6,000 or $20,000 to an agent to sell it. Just let me know, and I'll handle everything, and then you'll get your money. Boom. Mm-hmm. But tell them that after you've already know that the house, if there's anything wrong with it, right? If you don't want to do it, and then all of a sudden say, oh, by the way, I need to do an inspection on it and this and that, and then you find like there's a $30,000 problem with it.
I'd run it like this, like, hey, if you're ever looking to sell, and then let's say they do come up to you, say they're looking to sell, be like, how much do you want for it? They give you the number. You're like, okay, so if you received this today, you would take it? Yeah. Then what you do is you run your numbers on it and be like, man, I might be able to give you that, but here's what's on the inspection report. That's how I present it to them. Hey, here's what's on the inspection report. So you think we can come down here, here, and here, and then it would be a good deal. Or I could pay you the price you want, but you'd have to get all this stuff fixed. So it's one of those, like you just said, make it easy on them. Because if you put it in the way of, you got to get this shit fixed, they're like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You ain't got to fix it. I'll fix it. Just give me this price. That's basically how I do all my deals.
That makes sense. No, it makes sense. I guess the thing saying something like, oh, well, according to the inspection report, and I don't know. To me, I'd be like, wait a minute, you got this thing inspected without even telling me? It would put a little distrust in.
Hey, I've been renting it. We have to run an inspection per our insurance in order to make sure this place is in lively condition for our guests.
That's good. That's good. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. If they do give you some pushback on inspection.
Yeah, because you're running a business, right? So, hey, I'm running a business out here. We have to make sure safety purposes to secure, not only to make sure that we're secured, but you're secured as the property owner.
Yeah. Okay. And we take it a step further, say, and if they say, hey, I'm thinking of selling it, and they give you a number, $200,000, and you want to pay 180, whatever. you can tell him, 200 sounds good. Here's a few things, because we do have our handyman come out here every now and then to address things, and he noticed this and this and this. You just say, he quoted us a number. It's going to cost, about $10K to fix it. Do you want to pay him or someone else that to fix it, or you want to take it off the price? I mean,
that's what me and Mike are going through. Remember the leak issue? We're going through the same thing. And that's what I'm telling you. I'm like, hey, man, we can see if we can buy the house. I mean, we can get a couple. We know the foundation is brand new, right? So the foundation is good, but you have a leak under there somewhere. So, I mean, we can play the game. What we're talking about right now is just real estate knowledge, right? So if you know this stuff and you have that knowledge, now you can build that wealth that you want, because you can now acquire these properties, man. This is powerful stuff, man. I hope people are starting to catch on to it. But about apartment complexes, I am trying to get away from them. My goal, because, I'm about to launch 2 more properties. Once I get those 2 up, those are 2 I'll actually own. I'm trying to get it to where I'm trying to knock off all 10 of my arbitraged apartments and maybe transfer them over to like 5 houses that I arbitrage, maybe, you know what I mean? And then I'm getting a higher end product and with less doors, right? So I might be up to 10 total, 5 that I own, 5 that I arbitrage. And I want my numbers to be own 60%, arbitrage 40, own 60, arbitrage 30, and maybe manage 10. You know what I mean? So I'm just really playing the numbers game, because like I was telling you guys, if you're in the management space right now, it's a great place to be, because you have real estate investors getting into the short-term rental space who don't really know anything about short-term rentals besides Airbnb. And what's happening is, if you're coming in on Airbnb just made all those changes, right? So if you actually find your listing on Airbnb, there ain't even no description next to it. It just says, oh, here's a house in Dallas. They're basically stripping you of your branding, is what's happening right now with Airbnb. And that's why I tell people, brand your photos if you can. So I think right now, man, it's a great time to be in a management, because it's so much they don't know. So I was talking to, shout out to Elmwood Escapes, Anthony from Elmwood Escapes. He was like, man, I just had to switch management companies. They were charging me 25% for management, charging me 25%, and they only had me listed on Airbnb. He goes, I went to this new management company. They're charging me 15%, and I'm listed everywhere. And I'm like, that's the knowledge piece that everyone's missing out on, because if you listen on like Instagram and stuff, Airbnb, the word Airbnb is a sales tactic. That's all it is. You're selling something. What are you selling? You're an Airbnb host. You're Airbnb this. What are you selling? That's literally kind of what I look like. What are you selling, man? So, and then now people are selling that, but then now the game's getting sophisticated. It's like you just said, they ain't got them reps in. So great time to be in a management.
Yeah, great time. And who was our last our guest from Japan? Was it Tracy Northcott?
Yeah,
Tracy Northcott. And so when you said that about getting rid of some of these apartments and just going into less but better units, that's exactly what she did.
Yep.
She got out of these the ones that were more headaches and weren't making her a lot of money, and she just focused on getting some some houses that made her a lot of money.
Addition by subtraction.
That's the thing, man. That's most people are preaching more, addition. But nothing wrong with going less and better, right?
Yeah. Like my mentor Thatch always says every Tuesday on our call, you don't need 100 damn houses. You just need enough to get to where you want to be. And you got to get to where you want to be, and you're good. You don't need 100 damn houses. Now he owns probably like 100 plus, but he preaches that so you won't be scared to hop in. Like you won't be intimidated by it. Like you don't need that, and he'll tell you how to get to where he is. That's what I love about my mentorship. And you don't, man. And right now, people are chasing this number, and these rents are going up, bro. I mean, man. Speaking of interest rates, here's one thing you can also do if you're buying. If you want to counteract that, one thing you can do is go to a market with very low property taxes, and it'll offset the interest rate. Just something for people to consider. Yeah, see, Texas is bad because Texas don't like high interest rate because we already got high damn property taxes. So that shit goes up. You're like, oh fuck. Like, I talked to a few people at our last meetup, and he was like, man, my houses ain't cash flowing on long term. I was like, oh shit. He goes, man, I think there was like some people said between 30 to 70% increase in property taxes. So that's the killer. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the killer. So here's the thing too. That ever since I remember starting out paying rents when I was 19 years old, I have never in my life in this area seen rents go down. I've never seen them go down. I've seen them stabilize where they've been stagnant for a while, and you pretty much get aging myself, right? You could pretty much get a 1-bedroom for $500 a month. I remember, and that was pretty much, and then they started building newer ones. And okay, and a new beautiful apartment complex going to be closer to 600, 700. I've never seen them go the other way. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
And think about it. You've been here all these years, right? And you've never seen it happen. And right now we have a wave of just a whole bunch of people moving to Dallas. It ain't going to happen. There's too many people moving here. There's too many jobs here, right? I don't think real estate's really going to go down in Dallas. Like I said, I just think you're about to see a transition of renters, higher income renters. Like they said, if you want to, you're probably going to have to rent the American dream. So if you don't have like skills to increase your income, you're probably going to be in an apartment complex, man. So I think that's what it's coming down to. Yeah.
Yeah. I see, it's crazy how we see the other end of this now that we're real estate owners, investors, because, and it's sad to say, because I've worked alongside like these guys that are older dudes, getting closer to the retirement age, and they did everything they're supposed to do, just do the 401k and then just invest in some stocks and whatever, bonds, and own the house, own your only house that you got, right? And a couple cars, whatever. And now they're seeing with inflation is just chewing up their retirement, right? And they don't have anything else but the stock is chewing up the stocks too. Their stocks are plummeting, right? And the 401ks are cutting in half or losing a third of their value right before retirement. They have no choice but to keep working. Whereas real estate owners, investors, we see inflation as shit. You're making these properties we own worth a lot more. Plus, we're paying off the debt with inflated dollars. We're seeing the other end. Well, rich people love inflation. Rich people fucking love inflation, right? It just adds to their wealth. Poor people, inflation is the hidden tax, the biggest tax they'll ever pay. And so, but they don't see it, and they feel it when it happens, But they know, okay, government print out trillions of dollars, pay for all these programs, but hey, someone's got to pay the piper, right? And it's going to be inflation, and so the inflation makes
rich over to Ukraine, bro.
Inflation makes the rich richer and the poor poorer. So we're kind of seeing that other end. We're like, okay, inflation sucks, but man, our houses are just skyrocketing in value, right? And our debts going to get paid down because these rents keep going up. And our debt's going to get paid down a lot faster with inflated dollars. Anyways, it's just eye-opening that, and that the fact, and it helps us not to freak out, when stuff like this happens, when the markets shift.
I'm happy you said that because, I read a meme the other day and it said, if 90% of America's millionaires got there through real estate, why the hell would you try something else? I was like, UIL posted it, Earn Your Leisure. They posted, I'm like, it's a good ass point, man. Why the hell would you try something else? Like, it was a really good meme. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, this is the proven track for millionaires. I'm like, why try anything? I mean, you can try something like your passion and whatnot, but park something over there. If you park something in real estate, just park it, leave it, let it grow. You're about to win, man. You can win all day.
Here's one thing I have noticed, and I said I've never seen rents go down in this area. Perhaps it's happened in other areas, whatever. I've never seen them go down here, and I've seen them stabilize, whatever. But what I have seen is mortgages. Back in the day, you can get a house under 100K. You know, back when I was shopping, my first house I bought was like 82K, whatever, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Arlington. So my mortgage was like $600 a month, about $600 a month. So mortgages, I mean, I remember to rent a house around that time, a whole house, you could rent one for about $800 or $900 a month, you know? So if you bought a house cheap, you're not going to cash flow a lot because the rents didn't really support it, right? So you cash flow a couple $100, but you know, you still got all your capex, whatever. But anyways, so rents and mortgage. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm putting my hands one on top of the other. Rents and mortgage is about an inch apart, my hands. And I see them like this, and all of a sudden, you know, rents start going up, right? Your mortgage stays the same because we lock in the 30-year, whatever. It might go up a little bit.
Going down,
tax.
really. Paying.
It was going down. Yeah, it was going down. And taxes might keep it, you know, around the same. Taxes go up, plus the house, you know, it stays around the same. But then you see this gap forming, right? And my hands are going apart now. If you're not listening, you're not watching it on YouTube. So you see this gap. You're like, wow, you know, that I'm paying $600 a month on my mortgage, but I'm charging $1,250 for rents, right?
Facts.
But now what happens after that? These people that are paying higher rents are like, man, screw this. I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to find a way to buy a house. So they go and buy houses. House prices are going up. So the house prices go up and kind of catch up with the rents.
Yeah.
And they go back to level or just above what, you know, paying rents. But they're owning the house now, right? And so I've seen that happen a lot. I've seen the mortgages are low, rents started rising. Then all of a sudden the mortgages and price of buying a house goes up because everybody like, screw this, the rents are too high. I'm just going to buy. And it catches up and then it goes steady for a little while, right? It goes steady until the rents start going up again and start separating from what the mortgage is.
You're breaking down the cycle of America, man. Basically what it is, man, because you get the new house, right? You're going up the new house and then the rent's going to eventually, but us as owners, what's happening to all those properties we're owning? It's compounding because that one that was way down here, now the rent's way up here because I've owned it for 10 years. The one I've owned for 5 years is like this. The one I've owned for 2 years is like this. So my cash flow is just and then when the prices go up, what's also happening? You're getting appreciation from that one you own for 10 years. That's the power of real estate. That's the power of it.
And the only time I've ever seen it, I've seen real estate prices drop once in my life, and that was 2008, right?
Yeah.
That was 2008.
We're seeing that.
And that was a whole different animal from what, you know, if you watch The Big Short, you watch things like that. These the Wall Street was trying to sell these delinquent houses for top dollar, and it was just in US, you know, AAA bonds, whatever. They it fucked up the whole stock market. It fucked up the whole world, right?
Yeah.
And that's when that was the craziest thing because you go driving around everywhere, and you'd see like stuff they were building, cranes just sitting there because they weren't building nothing anymore. Remember? You remember that? It was just so eerie.
Bro, I was in the Northwest. That shit fucked up. Fucked up. I remember that.
It was so crazy, man. And that was the most extreme thing. But they were like, you know, back then they were giving mortgages to whoever had a pulse. You didn't need a
basically
pulse, and you didn't need you say, hey, I make $100,000 a year. Okay, just sign right here that you make $100,000 a year. They didn't have to ask for proof. It was just a crazy situation. So that's the only time I've ever seen them drop. Mortgages or house prices drop, and rents stayed the same from what I remember. But now it's harder to buy a house, a lot harder to buy a house, and so mortgages are stable. I don't see them dropping too much. If they do start dropping a little bit, they might, you know, take a lot longer to sell.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm happy you bring it up 08 because now. I think right now to get a mortgage, it's a lot harder, but the people who are getting them are rather savvy if they can get it in a bad market, which is good for America because now you have the right people with mortgages, in my opinion, that can pay it. They know the strategies to acquire it. So it's interesting. It's interesting. That's a really good point about 08. Yeah, and if you don't earn around for 08, 08's when I bought my first house in 09, right after the crash, because they were like trying to pay people. I think I talked about it last night on the Clubhouse. I'm like, man, they were paying people to buy houses. Like, hey, give us a fucking mortgage, you know, especially if you can actually pay it. So, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. The one thing that Okay, COVID, they started printing trillions of dollars. These banks had a lot of money. They needed to get it out there. So it started giving a lot more loans. Yes, you're not giving loans to dead people, but you started being a little more lenient. Okay, you can afford this. We'll get you into the house. We can get you into this $2,000 a month payment, even though you're right there. You put your wife's income. Y'all can, with both of y'all's jobs and incomes, y'all can kind of afford it. It's cool. We'll put you in the house. But the problem is, especially here in Texas, when the taxes hit, when all these property values went up, so that $2,000 a month that they were barely affording with their two incomes, now it went up to $2,800 a month, for that same house payment, right? Because of the taxes. The taxes are freaking ridiculous. And especially if they didn't, not everybody does it. If they didn't homestead, if they forgot to homestead, people are. That's another thing I don't want to talk about homestead and whatever.
People don't do it. You're right. People don't do it. See, if you have a good realtor, like my realtor, when I first moved to Texas, Pamela Cottrell, shout out to her. She'll send you a reminder. She texts me, hey, make sure you homestead. Make sure you homestead. Do it every time.
Yep. And people forget. You had a good realtor. That's great. But most realtors, not a lot. I mean, there's some good ones. But a lot of them are like, okay, I sold the house. I got my money. I'm on to the next one, but that's cool how she did that, because I know a lot of people that they got their first house and they forgot to homestead. And then all of a sudden they got that mortgage, that escrow jumped up, and they're paying $2,800 off something that was $2,000 the previous year. Really? I mean, that's a big jump for a lot of people.
Hell of a big jump, man.
Yeah. So that's one thing I fear of bringing evictions. It is because of the taxes, the tax burden. And so, but hey, you never own your house. You never own your house in the country, right? Because if you start missing tax payments, the government's going to take your house from you.
Yeah.
Or the bank.
Man, dude, that's one thing. And I'm shopping again in Texas, right? I'm doing cold calls in Texas, and I'm like, that is the one thing I've always hated about Texas, the fucking property tax, man. It's stupid high. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, man, the property tax I pay in Arkansas is like a 1 month. It's my whole year in Arkansas is probably a month in Texas. It's crazy. Seriously. So, but on the flip side, as a matter of fact, so you guys may know I switched over to Hostfully for my PMS. I'm using Hostfully, and I'm also getting a Boostly site created. But on Boostly, you have to put everything in so you they know how to set up your account, right? Or they can grab it from Hostfully. So you have to put in your tax rate. So I was doing the tax rate. Taxes, like the taxes they pay to do Airbnb, is high as hell in Arkansas and in Houston. Houston and Arkansas, the place in Arkansas I'm at, are at the same tax rate, which is 17%. I was like, damn. God. So what you have to do is you have to make sure if they're over 28 days, they ain't paying that tax, and it helps you out. But dude, when people are looking like, on Airbnb, they're paying up, man. I had a reservation for $1,200 for 7 days, right? $1,200 for 7 days. I looked at the full bill of it. They paid $130 in taxes. I was like, damn. Like, I was looking at them like, man, no wonder those people in Dallas and Houston don't want to pay their damn taxes, man. They pay that shit if there ain't no system for it. I was like 17%. But I mean, in our case, we can pass it on to the guests, but I don't think that makes you that attractive if they have to pay all that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, man. The taxes are pretty high on hotels.
Yeah, that's the thing with hotels. That's how cities make the money, hotels and rental cars, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember renting a car one time in South Texas, and I think it was like $50 for the day. I just rented for 1 day or whatever. I don't know how many days I'm gonna be here. And the taxes on it was $50 because I know it was the same. It's like, that's like, to me, it's like 100% tax.
Yeah, that's 100% write
up. I asked him, I was, what the heck is this? And he's like, well, you're getting taxed from the city, right?
Yep.
You're getting taxed from the city. Plus, you're at the airport, so you're going to get taxed the airport taxes as well. And then plus you got to get this these, I don't know, road hazard tax, this tax. I mean, it was insane. I was like, He's like, that's why it's better to rent a rental car for like, 3 or 4 or 5 days, because you won't hit the brunt of it.
Oh, yeah.
You got to hit. If you rent it one day, it's going to be a huge chunk. But if it's spread out a little bit,
Yeah.
and so, but that's how cities make their taxes. Every time they pass a new bond or new tax or whatever, that they raise, you see it. They raise the hotel occupancy taxes and they raise the rental car taxes.
Dude, you know what's crazy? So in Houston, you're paying a tax to the state, a tax to the city, a tax to the county, and a tax to the county sports complex. I look this all up. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So like, yeah, man, them taxes ain't no joke. And the reason why I'm looking at taxes now is because I'm going direct bookings, right? So now I'm going direct. You have to make sure you're charging that tax and pay your tax bill off. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, man, you gotta make sure you're on top of your taxes, because I am starting to notice there are a lot more manual processes. You got to turn this thing into a well-oiled machine if you're going the business route, going direct bookings. Because I ain't gonna lie, that's one thing that makes Airbnb viable. It makes it all easy. They'll screw you over, but they'll make it easy for you. It's just like a pimp. I'll make it easy for you, but I'm taking my 80%. I'll give you your clientele. I'm just saying, man, that's how it is. I'll give you the clientele and I'll give you the right corner, but I got to take my 80% off the top.
You saying Airbnb is pimping us like hoes?
Basically. Basically what it is, man. They don't even let you talk to the guests, barely, man. Guests can call in and say anything. Airbnb come smack that hand.
Like the Mac. I remember watching the Mac. I don't give a shit what happened to you. You get out there and get me my money.
Goldie.
Damn. I never knew that. We're getting pimped.
Hell yeah. I mean, think about it, man. Like your friend, no. Your friend who came on the podcast basically said it. The one you work with.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, yeah, man, because remember, he was in the vacation rental market. And he goes, when Airbnb came to us, he was like, man, we just didn't even like the feel of it. He goes, you're basically being the gatekeeper to my house. So, and that's a lot of things people don't really think about, man, because this industry's been around a long time. Airbnb just magnified it. So now you got people like, man, screw these people. They can't come gatekeep our property. So, and I think, oh man, we talked about this a little bit about, Google's getting into the vacation rental space, right? So they've already partnered with some people. And, the hotel industries are the ones who's been like on the fear fence. Like they haven't been really, like the hotel industry said they weren't really scared of Airbnb. They don't like Google getting into that space because how a lot of hotels have been making their money is, you can book a hotel directly on Google's website. You can just Google Marriott Houston, book it right then and there.
Yeah.
Google takes their fee, boom, they're out. Now,
cars, yeah.
Yeah. Now Google's like, well, hell, Airbnb's got all that money over there. Their hosts ain't really happy. Might as well let them list with us. Now the hotels are like, oh, screw that, yo, so they're getting kind of scared now. I don't think that I think the hotel industry is protected because of lobbyists, like we always say, like in Arlington, for example. I think that was hotel lobby money all day. They got 2 new hotels up there. I think they're protected in that way, but I do think they're going to have to get a little bit more sophisticated, right? I think if people like me and you can go list our properties on Google, what's the biggest search engine in the world? Google. If you already have the SEO, I don't have to get on Airbnb. Man, I think that's a huge, and I know they were talking about it. Luke Carl was talking about it in short-term rental, long-term wealth group on Facebook. He pointed out the API that they're building. And by the way, we need to sign up. I'll send you the message. They hit us up to be on their show. So we got to do that sign up.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's multi-platform is the way to go. Like Whimstay, at ease, get with a good PMS and partner with as many listing platforms as you can right now, but focus on direct. That's my thing. And like, especially if you start partnering with other ones, because Airbnb's turning into a shit show.
Yeah, well, direct bookings, man. Our buddy Boostley. Yeah, you got to hit him up. He needs to sponsor our show, man. We're getting him all this free pub, man. He needs to give us some sponsorship. What's up with that?
He does. Yeah. Matter of fact, click. By the time this episode airs, I'll have the link on our link tree. So y'all go click that link, and y'all gonna get I think 5% off of a site. Definitely get a Boostly site, man. It is. I'm in the middle of building mine. Before we hopped on the show, I was still uploading all my stuff. But yeah, get a Boostly site. Mark Simpson. Yeah.
Look up the episode he came on. He blew us away, man. That show, man.
Read his book, Direct Book Playbook. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That life changing.
Good episode, dude. I like this just BSing with you and talking about the industry, the state of the industry, and how each of us are doing. We don't get to do this enough. Yeah, man. It's great chatting. Where can people find us, Mike?
Man, find us on TikTok. Yeah, we're on TikTok. Steve's been taking off with the TikToks.
So I need to make mine today. I need to make a TikTok today.
So we got TikTok, Instagram. Catch us on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and make sure you're in our Facebook group. All this stuff is in our link tree. Click our link tree. We have the Facebook group, our Clubhouse events, and we will be featured at the Luxury Short-Term Rental Summit. I gave like a 60-second snippet, and then I had an interview with Rachel Gainsborough today. So definitely check that out. We'll be announcing some good stuff on our luxury STR summits, and also join our email list. Get on that email list because, man, a lot of people tried to come to our masterclass super late. People are hitting us up the day of. We're like, oh shit, man. So yeah, I guess people didn't know about it. So definitely get on our email list, and we'll be emailing stuff out to you. In 5 years, 212 episodes. Thank y'all for continuing to listen to us, man. It's been a fun ass ride, and we're going to keep continuing to pump out this content and kick some ass in the short-term rental space.
Keep on keeping on, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right. LLT out.
We are out. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.